Alright guys, I just picked this thing up. It was a beast to get here. This is a Kymco. Actually, this is my first Kymco I've ever bought. It needs a lot of work. You know, I bought it from a guy in Annapolis, and it's a heavy beast. And it might be a little bit too much work for me. So, it doesn't start. He tried to clean it. It has got this really interesting gator skin seat, and I'm kind of hoping that I can just peel it off to charge this thing. So I think that's fuel injection. So I'm not expecting this thing to run. I checked the oil when I went to get it, and it seemed to have been fine. One of the things I like to do is just to clean as much of these bikes as I can, just because, I don't know, it kind of feels like I'm doing something a little bit more. Hooked up to the truck. Weird. You have to twist this thing really far out to open this. Some people just have a different taste. This is actually leather too, so I shouldn't be too complainy about this stuff, but oh, it's so horrible. So this is the cap for the fuel injector, and it leaks gas, so I melted a bunch of plastic here. Hopefully I'll be able to make this work, but when I turn it on, fuel just flows out of here. So I need to get that. I tried to fix it by melting the plastic. That didn't work. There we go. And there is coolant already kind of coming out. It is sludgy. It has got a lot of gunk over here. Pump here. I have no idea if it's working or not. I don't see anything that's wrong with it. It's kind of tough to move the spindle. So I don't know if it's the water pump, but I've removed it. So here is the air filter, but they call it AC maintenance. ABS sensor still on there. Here we go. Voila. Man, I mean, these things are in here, but they are so hot. I mean, this is just so unbelievably hot. The pipe makes such heat that it burned that rubber. Alright, I managed to remove the shock without removing the plastic using a heat gun. I've actually tried to renew the plastics, but with the heat gun, if you go slowly, you can really get this pretty new. You can see it. Pulling. Whoa, look at this. There's a hornet's nest in here. This is nutty. This is really nutty. But now, with the cowling down, I can actually reach the radiator cap. Just because the thing that is happening is that the bike is getting hot, going up to very high temperatures. And the issue is, it could be the thermostat or could be the water pump, I think. So either way, I can't really run the bike too long. Paid $60 for it. It's kind of expensive. A regular lever. just lets you turn the engine over. So it's in kilometers that I see, and okay, the bike moves. Hey, the bike moves. That's quite good. It's actually surprisingly comfortable. Surprisingly comfortable. It's not heating up too much because I'm moving, so that's quite good. As soon as I slow down, the idle becomes really weird as soon as I and here we go. Okay, I don't want to go too fast because, you know, I'm wearing shorts, I'm not wearing any gloves, and this is a brand new bike that I don't know if there's something wrong with it. But look, the speedometer is not working, the tachometer is not working. That is why I think the temperature gauge is off. But none of the speedo stuff works, but the heat on the temperature gauge is really high. So it just seems like I have a bad gauge cluster. I do not think it's a overheating issue anymore. Ugh. It is a difficult bike to put into the kickstand. So this thing does get extremely hot, but I don't think we have a head gasket issue anymore. I did think that a while ago. I do think this is creating a lot of heat here, but just because I'm getting like these bad readings on this thing, it just makes me think that perhaps it's the gauge cluster and not the temperature gauge. I think the temperature gauge is like weirdly off. Gotta test drive this again. Ugh. Man, this thing is just hard to get up. Oh, actually there's a little bit of a technique. Okay, I really hate this key. It's like they made it really difficult. So one of the things I hate about this Kymco right off is that the filler cap is here, and then they had to route a large tube that goes all the way to here, and it would make a whole lot more sense putting the gas filler right here. But and to open it, of course, you go this way and you open it. Just don't like that system. The cables kind of okay. So that's the start, and it starts right up. Now this gauge is not working at all, so I think that's why it's overheating. It's not really overheating. I think it's a temperature issue that I have. Look at that, off-roading. Really loud scooter. I actually don't like that about scooters. It's like if you're gonna get a scooter, you don't want it to be loud, you know. So one thing I'm gonna do now, I'm gonna take it back to the garage, and I'm just going to look over bolts and anything it could potentially need. What does met in mean? And then there's like a cell phone thing. Do the hazards work? No, the hazards don't even work. There's something off. There's something electrical. I think the issue is electrical and not anything with the engine. Well guys, thanks for watching. I will see you in the next video. Bye. This is the Kymco 500 and I'm about to go and test drive it. I have moved it a little bit up and down the driveway and it works really well. So this is what it looks like, all buttoned up. Tasteful alligator seat that I'm actually starting to like. It looks pretty pimp. I have to admit, it looks kind of neat. The bike itself looks really fantastic. It looks sporty. It looks comfortable. So Kymco Xciting 500 Ri ABS. It's quite a handful. This one's kind of tricked out. It's got an aftermarket exhaust. It's got an alligator seat. That's right, alligator seat. It's got the center stand. It's got ABS. It's fuel injected. And it's a comfortable bike. The only downside with this thing is that it's very difficult to work on. If you buy a maxi scooter, be prepared to remove tons of plastic in order to do very basic maintenance. Just by removing the rear wheel, for example, on a maxi scooter, you have to remove the right shock, you have to remove the exhaust, you have to remove the right swing arm, and you have to, of course, remove the brake caliper. That's a lot of work just to remove a tire. This one, of course, is used. It's 2009. But it looks pretty good. There's some major quirks to this bike that I think are badly designed, but as long as you have a good running bike like this, it's a very comfortable commuter. Maxi scooters make really good commuters. Now the alligator seat might not be everybody's taste, but at first when I saw it I didn't like it, but now it's kind of growing on me. And it's kind of cool that you have the only alligator seat scooter in the entire world. This is the fuel filler cap. I don't like it here because it just adds a little bit more complexity to the bike. That way you have another hose leading to the gas tank. I think Kymco should have just put it at the bottom. But to open it, you use the key and it pops out. Kymco would put the fuel filler here because it makes more sense and you can just pop it off to fill it. The gas tank is here, but they decided to just put it all the way up, so that creates a little bit of complexity when you fill it up. I would rather have the filler here rather than higher on the top. It's also nice that Kymco gave you tons of lights. You know, this is an LED light, turn signals are integrated, so it looks pretty good. You can see that like that motor is just so big and there's nothing wrong with that. You still get very good efficiency and everything on this bike. The key does several things. It pops out the filler cap, and then if you turn it to the left, it opens up the seat. But it's a very complex system of cables that open up the seat and the filler cap. I actually prefer if they made it a manual system. This is way too complex. You also have an anti-theft device. You just put it here and it shuts the plate here so you can't put the key anymore. The key, you have access to a lockable pocket here, so you can put your wallet, your phone in there. You might be asking what this is. A lot of scooters have this. This is so when you go grocery shopping, you have a bag, so it's a bag hook. And you can put it here and it'll stay over here while you're riding, in between your legs. This is the handbrake and you push it in. It's very much like a car. All the way down means that the rear brake is released. All the way up, it's locked. There are a couple of positions. I leave it all the way down because this is a really complex sort of system and I've been having issues with it. That's the problem with the maxi scooters. If you want to fix something, you're going to have to remove all sorts of plastic, so I just leave it the way it is. Different foot position, so you can put your feet, your bare feet here and there here. It makes riding much more easier and comfortable. I can't see why a lot of guys in cruisers would prefer cruisers over this. This is much more comfortable. Compartment that you can use to put something. It's not lockable, so it's just simply you push it up. And this is not exactly good quality. It just seems like something that would break. I don't think Kymco makes things to last. I think if you keep using this, it's just going to completely break. So let's open up the seat. And it goes up pretty high. And you do have the ability of having a shock to kind of hold it. You don't have a lot of storage underneath here because these maxi scooters have such a large engine So the engine is right here. You do have an interesting compartment here, and that is for accessing your fuel injector. And you can put your phone here, you can adjust it and everything, and then connect it to the 12-volt socket to charge. That's kind of a nice feature. Up here you also have 2 helmet locks. Can't even fit a full-size helmet here. You're gonna have to go with half helmets. So for this bike, this one's got a brand new rear tire that I installed. It's got 2 shocks, one on the right and one on the left. And to remove it, there's a bolt down here and a bolt up there that's really difficult to access with the plastic on. This is the top of the line Kymco 500, and it's completely the top of the line. It's got fuel injection, it's got ABS by Bosch, and it's even got quite a bit of power. This is a 100-mile-an-hour scooter. You do have aftermarket brake levers, so they're adjustable, and you do have a hazard button here, then your run, and then your starter. Over here you have your high beam, you have a nice passing button, and you have your horn. And of course, on a scooter, this is your rear brake, and on the right side is your front brake. This one only has 10,000 kilometers, so that is about 8,000 miles, 7,000 miles. Not a lot for this type of scooter. So that's the Kymco scooter. It's a 500, so it's a very fast scooter. And people that get this, usually in Europe, get them for commuting because they're very comfortable for long distance riding. And I think a lot of people are getting more into scooters these days. They're unassuming, they're very easy to ride, and I think people just enjoy the comfort of them, and they don't want to shift gears. And this is good for it. Now, you don't get the quality that you get in Japanese bikes with this, but you do get a very good finished bike, and it's almost the equivalent of a BMW scooter, but still, it's got some Chinese components to it. Now, working on this, if you're into maintenance, this is not going to be a good bike for maintaining. And I think typically if I was to get a scooter, I probably would stick with a Japanese brand scooter because they're very reliable and well designed. And this one is well designed for a maxi scooter, but I do not enjoy the maintenance that comes with the maxi scooters. I prefer bikes that are very easy to maintain. And just removing the plastic, having to deal with all that plastic is kind of a pain. That is the 2009 Kymco Xciting 500 RI ABS. And hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.